Hi, I'm PJ Glassey, owner of the X Gym here in Seattle. Today we're going to talk about how to stretch out your hip flexors using an inversion table. Most of us have sit-down jobs, and when you got a sit-down job, your hip flexors are going to get tight because your hips are always at 90 degrees and they're not being stretched outside of their natural range of motion. And that natural range of motion is, of course, diminished. So when you're just getting on an inversion table with a straight body can be a hip flexor stretch. Now there's a couple different hip flexors. There's the outside ones on the front of the quad, and then there's the deep hip flexors, which is the C.S.C.S, on the inside, like in your ab area. And that one is the one that causes the most problems with people and can even cause low back pain because that's tied to the low back, and when that's really tight, a lot of people don't know it's tight. They're feeling this back pain, and that could be the culprit. So when you're using an inversion table, make sure, of course, that your feet are nice and secure. You don't have to go that far back either. You don't have to be completely upside down. Even an angle like this is going to be enough. Now, just hanging is going to stretch out those C.S.C.S, and then reaching back is going to do it even more. So this, just by itself, can be an awesome hip flexor stretch. And then to get more intensity, all you have to do is come out for a second, take one foot out, lock the other one in, back into position. Again, you want to make sure that it's not a really steep angle because now you're just hanging from one foot, and that can be uncomfortable if it's too steep. I mean, level is even, so anything past level is going to be nice traction for you. So it doesn't have to be super aggressive. And then just letting the leg hang to the side like this, and then reaching back with your arms can be an awesome stretch, both for the deep psoas and for the surface quad muscle right up there. Reaching back as far as you can, stretching it out. And then if your inversion table will let you, to grab that foot, pull it down and back to get even more of a hip flexor stretch on the quad. And then just reaching back with the other hand. And then another way to do it, to add even more stretch yet, if you're ready, is to take a foam roll, stick it underneath your back, let that leg hang again, reach it back, and that's a heck of a stretch. Really stretching that out. Boy, I can feel that deep in the psoas. Just chilling out. Make sure that when you're stretching, there's no pain, that it's a comfortable stretch, and you're just relaxing. And the longer you hold the stretch, the more you're going to feel yourself relaxing. And then also make sure that each stretch is at least 30 seconds or longer. That's what the research recommends to get a benefit out of that stretch. And then the last thing is to stretch when you're warm if you can. Cold stretching is great, but warm stretching, especially as you're cooling, if you're holding the stretch as you're cooling down, is worth at least a dozen sessions of cold stretching. Warm stretching, you're more flexible, that's fantastic, but more importantly, if you hold it as you're cooling, then that's a different story. And that's where you get the more permanent benefit and the more permanent change of the muscle. So that's how to stretch out your hip flexors on an inversion table.